where we are. Okay, so the TypeScript and data structure. Let's click it. The data structure. So we have array. Some people call it array or list or matrix if there is a 2 dimension.
Sí, igual se ve más claro en esta
More than 2
perspectiva.
dimensions. Some people call it tensor. You know. This is like a so we have the list A variable and list B variable, and they are both list because, as I said, we have a I mean, the string itself is a list, but we create basically one list, and then as a first index, we insert
esta semana con
right?
Andrés, martes y
So
jueves, y el
you can
miércoles
consider like that.
con
I don't know why they become
y
angry.
la siguiente semana es solo un día de Andrés,
Okay.
día de robótica, y ahí se acabó todo. O sea, aquí no hay más. 7 y 8 de julio se acaba.
Come on, there's nothing wrong. Okay, let me refresh. Great.
Sí, igual.
Control Shift I to open the.
Igual converso con ella y todo, pero me escribió porque
could you mute your mic, please?
To select all of them and select them out because we are not interested in rest of them. So we are interested in that code. So I print the list A, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is expected result, obviously. And then there's list A, index 3. So go 1, 2, 3. So I expect number 4. There's a number 4. Yeah, we just keep like a remind what we already learned, right? And then B, we expect a string inside of the list because we already put the string inside of the array or list. And then we use append, right? We use append. Okay, somebody likes pen. Okay. I do. Okay.
Angel. Hey, could you mute your mic? Yeah.
No sé, muy intenso todo, en el sentido de que te piden algo que con dos,
I mean,
ella decía,
please mute
con dos clasecitas de engranajes y motores a construirnos un
Angel. Ángel, ¿puedes apagar tu audio, por favor?
La verdad, medio que sí es así.
Did you guys hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, so I didn't recognize. Okay, please mute your mic unless you have a question.
Sorry por el mega podcast. Estoy
hello.
Hello. Yo creo que igual, no sé. O sea, pensaría que.
Can't you mute his mic?
Plantear algo, no sé. No sé si votar. No.
Oh yeah, I think I can do that. Wow.
Yeah.
Pero
if you click on the blue button next to his name or on his name,
válido.
There's like, yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry, Kai. Okay, great. Oh my God, I didn't recognize. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Where we are? Yeah. Okay. Here. Wait. I can actually leave messages here. No, this is just Americano with lots of water. Yeah. So we used to use append function to insert item to the list in Python. Correct, right? However, in the TypeScript or JavaScript, we use the push. Yeah, here. For those who are familiar with the C# in Python, for example, they use the add, like in the capital A. Yeah, there's a fashion. This is just simply syntax. So I think we just follow it. Yeah, it's nothing special. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So then this is this B inside of this list B, the first item is the string here, right? The second item I expect is 3 and 6. So we print this the list B list. Yeah. So here there's a inside of the list in the 0 index, hello world, which is string. The first index, the second index is 3 and 6 in order here, right? It's very straightforward, right? I'm going to comment it out. I think it's here. There we go. So in Python, yeah, we create a string and then we print it using the split functions to decompose a string on the basis of the comma, right? So the expected return value is the list. It has its own character split by the comma, right? This is what we did in Python. So here, same as the Python. Oh, they're same, right? Well, this is good. So we have a same string here, and then simply print it A, B, C, D, E, F here, and then I split the return value. I'm just basically override here, yeah, the return value, and then I wanted to make a for loop starting from 0, which is convention, right? And the condition is actually we wanted to loop through entire the elements inside of the list. So we directly use the length. But don't worry about it because the length is always the bigger than the I. Because in order to get the right number, we always -1, right? However, we use this fashion here. This fashion. If you wanted to use like this, and then we need to do this one more like operation to deduct number 1. But I mean, you don't need to know, but just for your information, yeah. So anyhow, so we individual loop, we increase the I number. Using the I number, we're gonna index the individual the entity or elements in that list, so that we are able to print A, B, C, D, E, F here, right? So this is a sort of the very conventional fashion here and then, well, this is a little bit weird, right? We never thought about it, kind of things. But this is, as I said, multiple things supported by TypeScript. So this is the other way around of the maker's loop. So the my data, we know the my data is basically list, correct? And then that notation is meaning that there's some function we can take advantage of it. So there's a for each. Just keep it. Be careful. The character E is a capital letter, okay, and then parenthesis open and parenthesis close. Yeah, this is just syntax. Yeah. I don't know why people make this like this, but we can create a variable. This variable gonna contain the individual entity throughout the loop. In this case, the first loop, D contains A, and then for the next loop, D contains B, yeah? So I can just print them. So now we have A, B, C, D, E, F in order, right? This is from for each because I just concatenate, right? So you can just simply to follow the line by line as a computer, very, very slow computer, one line, and then you can predict what value is the inside of this variable and how we update the variable. Yeah. So I think this is also really good practice. But keep in mind, this is just syntax. Yeah. But you don't need to worry about it because we know this basic, for loop syntax, which is universally you can apply. I just mentioned here, just for your information here. So matrix. So yeah, matrix is nothing special, right? This is sort of two-dimensional array things, as far as we know, right? Luckily, in terms of the declare the matrix in TypeScript, it's very similar to Python, right? But again, we need to put the let. or constant, but I recommend you guys for the just use let for now. Yeah. So this is the first loop. Just forget about this line here. So first loop, we expect this list. Let's say we can call it item. This item gonna be written. Yeah. And then we know this item is list, so that we can append additional for loop inside of the for loop outer here. So that's why I do this kind of function. Yeah. So think about it. We have let's say a maybe number is better. A example. Yeah. So we expect the in general, right? So matrix need to be like a same like dimension, like the same the length of the array. But in this case, the first length, I don't know how many, but there are, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there are 7 lists inside the matrix. Let's say list. This is a list of list basically. And then the second item inside the list is a 1, 2, 3. This is a little bit different. So using this kind of fashion, we are smartly measure the dynamic length of the data inside of the list. Yeah. So to think about it, the real world in the data CSV file or JSON file, we have no idea, right? How long the list is bigger or shorter, or So I mean, this is all about like as I said, controlling data, create the data pipeline, and then append some condition. Based on the condition, create your own design algorithm to make some results. So this is all about like a thinking process. Most importantly, the reason we need to learn the syntax is because we can use English to communicate with different people and for the thinking process, right? But unfortunately, computer doesn't understand the English, right? So we need to understand their language. The Python is actually interpreter. So Python is basically like a middleman. We just make some script for the Python, and then basically Python interpret this one for the like a machine language. Yeah. So this is all about like programming things anyhow. So I don't expect memorize these kind of complex. Let's say it's not complex actually, but a little complex for beginner. I don't expect memorize. Just copy paste. But most important thing is that understanding why you put the J here with I here, right? This is really important things. So let me print out. Yeah, I think this is the same fashion in Python, right? So we know this is sort of a two-dimensional array. So the first index is about this array, and the second index is about the individual, the entity or item things. Yeah. So I can increase one more dimension here. Right? It's gonna be break. So we need to do like 0 here because there's no second list inside of the array. But however, if I do this 0, and then I can do like 1, 0 here. So I expected 0 here. Come on, yeah, I'm right. You guys, my point, right? Great. Let me undo for the next class. Okay. So object here. Oops. So just a reminder, in the Python, we declare the variable name, and then using the equal sign to assign something, and then using the curly brace, correct? Inside of the curly brace, we need to assign 2 information. One is a key and value, right? And then in between them, we need to use the colon sign to declare like key pair value things. Luckily, TypeScript, same, which is good, right? So I create the my object is same as in Python, yeah. But I need to put the let before the variable name, correct? and then create a simple loop here. Yeah. So in this case, there are many loops, but I'm trying to minimize the confusion. So this is a little bit different syntax that we have been known, right? So we use in keyword here. In keyword, there's an of keyword, in keyword, like let's say of like this. But just in this case, we just can use in keyword for the loop. What it does is basically just like Python. The I value gonna has the key value here. The I is the nj, yeah, and then the expected value is number 1. So here key nj value is 1, key mj value is 2, key dj value is 3. This is the same operation like Python here. Yeah. So we are reached at the end of this exercise here. So as I said, we are doing something in JavaScript. JSON is JavaScript object notation. This is actually JSON file. Yeah, so here's a special function to create this sort of dictionary, or some people say like a map or dictionary or class, depends on the domain of people's knowledge, I guess. I mean, because different people has different like a term. Yeah. So anyhow, the JSON is sort of a library, so you don't need to import because let's say the code panes already take care of it. Yeah. So JSON has a function because we have a dot notation here, right? And then function means we need to append like parentheses in order to dump some parameter to execute the function, right? So my object is this. I simply dump this one using this inbuilt function here. And then I'm able to get the return value and then just simply print out. So now what I get is this string. Yeah, this is actually just one string. This is one string. Yeah, because it includes by the double quotation. This is all just like let's say just string. Yeah, it's nothing special. So for example, if you get any sort of the text file or JSON or other CSV file or GeoJSON file, it is good for you to expect this is just entire really big giant string. So in order to create the JSON file out of this giant string, there's the other function parse here. So we have this giant string and we just dump in the function called parse, belongs to JSON object, correct? And then we basically create the object and then convert to the string, and then we reconvert the string to the JSON. Yeah, this is like a reverse engineering things. So the reason I mentioned is because we are going to dealing with the JSON or GeoJSON file to visualizing on the web environment. So this is absolutely very useful function. Actually, we did use in the Python in Grasshopper, right? I guess so. I think. Yeah. So anyhow, so this is the sort of last exercise for the TypeScript syntax. Do you guys have any question for now?